For Christmas, as much as poinsettias are a part of our scenery, Amaryllis has become one of the most favorite bulbs to grow inside. It's normally an outdoor plant, but you see these beautiful red, white, pink blooms at Christmas time. And I'm going to show you how to make this very easily. It's a 6-petal flower. And we're going to start by doing some shading, because as you look down the bulb, it has that deeper center that shades really well. So I'm going to use a Copic pen, the alcohol, because it dries quickly on the paper. And I'm just going to do some brush ups on the stem end, as I've done for these petals. Now I've got one on my molding mat, now that I've done the shading. Place them from the nonstick mat onto the molding pad, and then we're going to use the loop tool, the large end, and we're going to shape them. You're just going to press down from the center, and you see I'm not even holding it with my other hand because I don't want to stop that movement of the paper. So we've got that shaped nicely, and I would do all 6 petals that way. Now, while we're shaping and bending, let's do the leaf. The leaf also gets some nice lines and some shading, but first we're going to do the vein and stemming. This paper has a texture side, so I'm going to turn it on its wrong side, or right side facing down. I'm using the leaf tool, and then I'm just merely adding a stem line down the center. When you turn it over and bend it, you can see the definition. Now I'm going to use my pan pastels, and I'm going to shade that line with a little bit of the green. I'm going to place it back on the mat here, and I'm just going to add a few little veining lines, and I'm doing them vertically as well. They don't have as much definition. And then if you take your tweezers, and we're going to pinch the end, and then I'm using this medium ball stylus, I'm going to bring it over here to my molding pad, and I'm just going to press and bend back that leaf a bit, and so you get that little bit of curl. Now, if you look at my completed leaves here, I've added some reddish tint to them, and I'm going to do that with my pan pastels. That's a way of, with the red variety of the Amaryllis, you'll see that on their leaves. So I'm adding a little bit of red just to the edges. And you only see that, you see that on some of the striped varieties. These bulbs have a number of colors, white, pinks. They're beautiful, some lime green. So I've added that to my leaves, and I'm going to put them back here and set them aside. Now assembly is pretty quick. We have a calyx, and that's the base to put the flower on. And I'm going to start by stirring it and just pressing it on the molding pad and stirring it. You'll see it raise up. Here's one here done, and I'm going to bring into play here my nonstick mat. And I've added 2 petals there. So I've got one of my shaped petals. Besides shaping it, I'm going to pinch it. And then if you want to get a little curve to the end of that flower, you can simply just press back with your medium ball stylus, and you get a nice little curve. Now I'm going to drag it through my glue. And when I say drag, I mean you're just going to catch the edge, and you kind of brush it off. If you can see, let me move these toothpicks so they don't fall all over the place. If you just drag it through, that way you get a fair amount of glue on it, but you don't overdo it. Hold your calyx in place on your nonstick pad, and I'm going to just press back and forth till that adheres. So that's the first layer of petals. There'll be every other one on that side. So we've got the 3 base petals. I've added 2 more, and now to do the last one, and that's your completed flower with the petals. So we'll put it in the flower pot to dry, and then we're going to work on the stamen. The stamen has some pollen on the end, and usually you'll find that the stamens usually match in shade to the color of the flower. So this one's red. I'm going to just I've used my scissors to cut the filaments apart, and then I'm going to use the toothpick to paint some glue on that base. And use your tweezers, hold it onto one end, and I roll my tweezers and catch. Now I'm going to continue to roll that through my fingers, release my tweezers, and I'm going to spread them out a bit. Now we'll bring over, this is my pollen, and I've set it into containers to separate the colors. But you can go ahead and paint the edges with the glue so the pollen will adhere to it. And this gets yellow, so I'm going to dip it right in the yellow. And there's your stamen completed. Now you can take and with your tweezers, hold the tip end. And here's a completed flower that's dried some in the flower pot. And I'm just going to add the stamen right into the center. And that's your flower. The only thing you need to add are your leaves. As you can see on the project I've created here for a Christmas, I've added them into the center there. So the ones that have been shaped and formed, all you need to do is, again, drag it into the glue. And let's add a leaf right under here. And so you've got your completed amaryllis. Christmas would be very joyful with that on your table or on a Christmas present or a tag. I think you're going to like that one.